Hi there, I'm here at the Black Bridge near Inveresk in the Launceston city centre. Might not look like it, but I'm only 20 minutes from the heart of Launceston city centre. But why is there an abandoned railway line here? What's it doing? And what does this have to do with the historical trams Launceston once had? Well, here's the thing. This is the old section of mainline railway into Launceston station, which is located over there at Inveresk. But this bridge and the line have been left in situ since 2004. Here's the thing though, they might not be lasting much longer. The Launceston Tramway Museum has announced that they plan to extend their service on their heritage tramway through Inveresk out onto this section of abandoned line to Glebe Gardens, about 1 kilometre from the end of their existing line. So in this video we're going to look at this as well as other proposals to extend the Launceston Tramway Museum, whether official or not. This line that the Tramway Museum proposes to use is part of the Western Railway line. This line is still in operation for the majority of its route. This section was opened in 1871 and was part of the first railway line to open in Tasmania. It ran from Launceston Station at Inveresk to Deloraine in the Meander Valley. The embankment behind me over there was also a railway line. This one part of the Tasmanian mainline railways branch into their Launceston railway station. The branch into the mainline railway station at Launceston closed in 1990 after being used as a goods yard for many years. And the line into the Launceston railway station itself closed in about the year 2005 when heritage trains stopped running. By the way, sorry if I'm sounding a bit weird during this video. I'm filming this during a midsummer heat wave in Launceston, and so I'm a bit exhausted, and to be clear, it's 30 degrees and it's about 10:30 in the morning at the moment. And this is a very open and exposed railway line. Anyways, getting back to the Tramway Museum's proposal for this line. They propose to extend their tramway, running using tram number 29 and potentially in the future tram number 1, onto this section of line for about 900 metres across the Black Bridge on the North Esk River and out to Glebe Garden, which is a popular garden site just on the east side of the city centre. Their tram line is already connected directly to this line. However, this line has been left abandoned for many years and is in poor condition. Its owner, Tasrail, has never used this in its over 16 years of operation, and it is left abandoned from the Henry Street level crossing, which is just past East Tamar Rail Yards and near Glebe Gardens, out to the Tramway Museum's tracks. It's fully single track, just like the rest of the Tramway Museum's operations, but the way that the line works in comparison with the rest of the Tramway Museum's line sets up a few questions about how this would operate. The Launceston Tramway Museum currently runs a pretty complex operation, with 3 times the tram needs to turn around on its 1 kilometre stretch of track. Extending the line to Glebe Gardens would probably take that up to 5 turnarounds, which is a lot. At Glebe Gardens, the question would be whether you can get off. I believe the Tramway Museum is a great candidate to become a hop-on, hop-off trip, either with tour guides or with just get on and off and explore. As we can see with this track, the line is in decent condition. However, a lot of the sleepers are rotten and there's lots of debris on the track, such as these leaves, and I believe there are a few branches. Let's look at how this service could run better than I could explain in person there. While we don't know specifics, we can assume the tram will reverse directions near the current Donovan Railway workshops and head over the bridge and onto the line to stop just before the Henry Street level crossing. Just beyond this crossing is the end of the operational main Western Railway line used by Tasrail freight trains. This has space for a platform and a space to alight from the tram and explore the gardens. Another thing we need to mention is the trams. Currently, the Launceston Tramway Museum operates a single tram, form of double bogie tram number 29. It is hoped that in the near future another tram, single bogie number 1, is restored and ready for service. This will be powered by a battery generator, and existing tram number 29 will be converted to battery generator power as well. I'm personally unsure as to the time frame of this, but I believe it involves replacing the generators currently attached to the trams with a new battery powered one with solar panels. Now, getting to the other proposals to extend the line. Please note, none of these are official, of course. We'll do this in two parts, firstly my proposal, and secondly some proposals from the community. Now, my proposal. I suggest extending the line from the southern terminus to the Penny Royal, linking up with an abandoned heritage tramway there. For those who don't know, before 2008 there was a heritage tramway running using single bogie tram number 16 at the Penny Royal, popular tourist destination based around an abandoned quarry in the Launceston city. The tram and most infrastructure is still in situ today, and we can use this. There are three options for crossing the North Esk which should work. The best and most expensive crosses using a rebuilt Victoria Bridge located directly next to the current end of the line, then runs on a grass strip near the Esplanade and St John Street before crossing Charles Street at a reconfigured intersection and heading down through the current car park at the Seaport, using the grass embankment if available. It then works its way through Royal Park before entering Kings Park and crossing Bridge Road to join the Penny Royal Tramway. To cross the North Esk back there is the hard thing. The other two options are this: run along the north bank of the river before crossing on a rebuilt Charles Street Bridge, or to use the Black Bridge and Glebe Gardens alignment to avoid building a new crossing. There could be stops along the route to serve the area, and if that were to happen, I'd propose to run two separate tram routes, with number 1 and number 16 running from Northern Inverness to Penny Royal, and number 29 to Glebe Gardens only. The third part of this video will cover your proposals as viewers of the channel. I have two main ones to show. The first proposal is from commenter Afro Penguin. They propose to extend the tramway to Riverbend Park along the waterfront. They have a very long comment explaining this, but in simple: a new tram line along the grass strip beside Lindsay Street from the existing track to the popular Riverbend Park. This would roughly follow the former route of the old Launceston Wharf railway line through Invermay. This would have a stop at Riverbend Park with a siding and ticket booth serving the park, Solo Hotel and the National Automobile Museum, as well as a proposed convention centre. From there, the line would cross Charles Street in a reconfigured intersection, stop at Sawtooth Gallery and Holbrook Street, then crossing Invermay Road and stopping at a stop there. The line would then rejoin the main tracks just before the railway station. I assume this would mean removing the tracks of the railway station itself, or perhaps they could be retained for operational flexibility. The commenter suggests to reverse trams at the museum and continue them onto Glebe Gardens, however my personal preference would be for the service to either run separately to the Glebe Gardens route, or to run first to Northern Inverness, then by the back track to head out to Glebe Gardens or back onto the main loop. This will connect lots of major destinations for tourists, locals, business and other pursuits. The other proposal is for a tramway service further north along the former North East Line's alignment towards Mowbray. This is a significantly longer extension, coming in at just over 2 kilometres. This would run either on or alongside a tall embankment, preferably on top for better views. There is a single level crossing at Vermont Road which would likely need some form of active protection. This would end at the former rail yards at Mowbray Junction, where the tram would turn around. This would make a significantly longer journey all the way to Mowbray. Thanks to Jake and Ben for this idea. There was also another proposal to extend the tram service to the city centre and the gorge. In a way, this is covered with my Royal Park and Penny Rail service, as that ends near one end of the Cataract Gorge. However, there's the question of the city centre and trams. My honest take is there is almost no chance of heritage trams in the city centre. The only way we could see that is if, in the far future, light rail services are open in Launceston and a track connection to the Tramway Museum is established. However, to exclusively develop a heritage tramway on the city centre streets would be very difficult, and personally I would say that would be prohibitively disruptive and expensive. This now brings me to the end of this video. If you want to see what it's actually like to ride the Tramway Museum, I don't have a recent video on it, but I feature in a video by Doan Transit where we visit the museum and ride the tramway. It should be on screen and in the description. If you want to support the Tramway Museum, go to launcestonTramwaymuseum.org.au or visit them in the Inverness precinct. They run trams from 10 AM to 3 PM on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday and on special events. If you want to give me your ideas for the future of the Tramway Museum or any other transport in Launceston, you can say so in the comments section or join the Tasmanian Transport Hub Discord server where you can talk with many other transport enthusiasts about anything to do with Tasmania. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time on Tasmanian.